Welcome to this JCBcs Podcast, Would You Insure Your Car? As we also like to call it, Business Continuity Disaster Recovery. Should we bother? Now, it's a very interesting question. If it wasn't a legal requirement, would you actually buy your car insurance? Now, this is very thought-provoking. There would be many who would buy the insurance and many who wouldn't. We'd also have to consider the emotive and emotional approaches. Why do I need car insurance? I drive perfectly fine. It's other people, not me. I've never had an accident. If I did, it wouldn't be my fault anyway. Car insurance, that's a waste of money. It's far too expensive. Of course I would. It is possible to have an accident, you know. Now, in the real world, these arguments are taken away from us, as we all have a legal requirement to insure our cars to protect others and drive legally on our roads. In reality, very few people will actually have an accident, comparatively speaking, when we consider the number of car drivers on our roads. However, one thing is true for each and every one of them. They are very glad they, or the person they hit, or hits them, are insured when they do actually have an accident, well, to clear up all the mess. We now live in a very available world, where social media has replaced old media and old crime has been replaced by cybercrime, and our world revolves around data, especially in our businesses. Customer data, supplier data, patient data, employee data, and personal data. Now, this data can reside in many forms in many locations, and as business owners, we are all responsible for protecting this data from being stolen or borrowed. Now, data protection in a business should be considered as a high priority and is something that must be taken seriously, as the consequences of a data breach, especially with the introduction of the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, which was implemented on the 25th of May 2018, could be very severe. Safeguards are something that should be made part of each and every business's processes for their GDPR and cyber compliance. So, why does data protection really take a back seat? Well, sadly, there's a very simple answer for this, which is value. Why? Well, for many businesses, when you speak to them about business continuity and disaster recovery, although they believe whilst it may be a good idea, as they cannot actually see it, many don't think it's worth the expense, as they have nothing to touch or feel. Also, for many business owners, they don't understand why they would need it, what it really does, and what they will actually get for the money. So in simple terms, until a business owner has a reason to buy it, like a data breach happening to them or someone they know, they have no basis to change, and let's be honest, any business would like to save the money. If we were to be brutally honest, business continuity and disaster recovery is insurance. We hope we never need it, however we're glad we have it if the worst happens. However, until that time, it does cost real money to implement it. It is clear that for many businesses, the time, effort and especially money to protect themselves from cybercrime and ensure GDPR compliance will cost more money than the value that they can perceive until they've experienced a disaster, which is exactly the same as the car insurance. Nobody wants to spend the money for their policy, and annually we can complain how expensive it is to buy. However, the consequences of not doing so will be larger and in some cases very catastrophic for the business. Loss of reputation, loss of customers, fines, loss of revenue, loss of confidence, all of which could cause the entity, your business, to cease trading, which is not as uncommon as you may believe. Now, we are sure you will agree that having a business continuity disaster recovery plan, should the worst happen, is a better solution than not, something which in the long term will be a less expensive option. Implementing business continuity and disaster recovery will help ensure your business follows a comprehensive GDPR and cyber compliance journey. JCBcs will help you create your business continuity and disaster recovery plan, protecting your business should the worst happen in the future. Now, after listening to this podcast, ensuring your business has this insurance is a good idea. Wouldn't you say?